I'm Jake Trumper and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about one of my favorite actors of all time, Brendan Fraser. I'm sure you already know who that is. You don't know who Brendan Fraser is, and that's okay. But Brendan Fraser actually played a huge role in the late 90s and early 2000s when it comes to movie actors. At one point in time, you'd say Brendan Fraser and everyone would know who that was and you'd get super excited. It's crazy that how quickly something can change. Within the past 15 years, he's become not obsolete, but unknown. That's why I'd like to dive into this and kind of talk about how actors can have such a high rise. Let's do high rise. Can have such a high rise. There we go. Let's do that one. And yet, a few years later, mean absolutely nothing. Today we're talking about the history of Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser is an American actor who was born in 1968. He had his first role in 1991 where he played a sailor in the song Dogfight. Obviously, this role wasn't huge, and from 1991 all the way up to 1996, he was in multiple other movies that weren't mainstream. But then in 1997, he played George in George of the Jungle. And after that, he became almost a household name. He started doing multiple other movies, and then The Mummy came out. The Mummy, 1999, was like his biggest break. That was the one where everyone learned who Brendan Fraser was. Then from 1997 all the way to about 2008, Brendan Fraser was doing multiple movies. Movies like Journey to the Center of the Earth, which was in 2008. He also had The Mummy Returns, which was going to be in 2001. There's multiple movies that he was in. People were falling in love with Brendan Fraser, and he was on top of the world. He also got married in 1998. I knew that. Why'd I look down? I was looking at her name, so I always forget her name. Afton. I hate this lady. You're gonna find out why. Okay, so they got married in 1998 during the height of his career, and it led all the way to 2008 where they got divorced. And this is where I start to kind of hate Afton. The alimony that you have to pay, when you get divorced with someone, alimony is how much you have to pay out, like a monthly thing to help your once significant other. Brendan Fraser had to pay $1 million in alimony a year. That is a crazy amount of money. So he had to start doing not the best movies, and by 2010, he was no longer on screen. He started doing voice acting. He was in the movie Aliens vs. Monsters, Nut Job, movies like that, animated movies. And then things got even worse for him when he went to a party and was sexually assaulted by a director. I'm not going to name that director, but this really messed with Brendan Fraser's mindset, and he actually quit acting for a while. It's really sad to hear about that he had to go through something like that. So first he has the messy divorce in 2008, switches his acting, and is not doing a great job with it anymore, losing his household name, and then this happens. And he took a very large break from acting, and you'd see him do interviews and stuff, and he'd have a crackly voice, and he'd seem genuinely sad. And he doesn't use social media on anything. He's an actor who hit his popularity in the 90s and just did not evolve with it as well. I'm not putting all the blame on all these unfortunate circumstances. He also just didn't evolve with the times, which was sad to see. Until now, baby. He is now back into acting, which I absolutely love to see. It's so cool that he got back into it. He kind of opened up about all of his experiences and accepting of where he is in life, and he started doing TV shows again. Right now, you can see him in the show Doom Patrol, which is on the DC streaming service. There's a free episode on YouTube right now if you look up Doom Patrol episode 1. I highly recommend it. My boy Brendan freaking kills it. Again, the character he plays is actually a metal man, so he voice acted. He's a voice actor in it again, which is just awesome to see. He's been doing other shows where he shows up again. What's crazy to think about is, you remember the G.I. Joe movies? Brendan Fraser was in one of those G.I. Joe movies as just a commander in it. Wasn't even credited. That was 2013. That was 2015, around that time. 2012 to 2015, around that time. That's how unimportant he was. He wasn't even getting credited in movies anymore. He was just trying to make up that alimony. So now to see him come back and be someone huge again, well, not huge, he's only on the DC streaming service, but maybe someday, is awesome. And it brought more attention when the Tom Cruise The Mummy came out, and a lot of people were like, why is Brendan Fraser not in it? It's because Brendan Fraser also went through a lot of other pains. I thought I'd give you guys the happy part before I gave you even more sad stuff for Brendan Fraser. He did his own stunts in the 90s, so all those mummy action movies, did his own stunts. did his own stunts in 2000s, Journey to Center Earth, did his own stunts, and he got extreme back problems from it. He ruptured a lot of stuff, had muscle problems, and obviously had to get a lot of help for that, which led to him having to only do voice acting. This guy has such a sad story. I have to put it into parts. So, like, it's just, he's 51 now, and at around the age of, like, late 30s is when he started getting these pains, which just sucks. Honestly, he was one of the sweetest actors as well. My goal is to meet him someday. I don't know if it's going to be at a Comic-Con or something, but this actor, he just seems like one of the most genuine human beings out there. If you watch some of his movies from the 90s, he has so much fun. He's so loving. There's Netflix shows out right now that you can watch that he's in. You can watch the Looney Tunes Back in Action. I marked that one down because that's on Netflix right now. It came out in 2003. Brendan Fraser does a killer job in it. At the end, Brendan Fraser punches Brendan Fraser. It's pretty funny. It's pretty awesome. So, this was just, I'm not even hyping myself up. Hey, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Yeah, I'll hype myself up. But Brendan Fraser comes first. Brendan Fraser first, and then me. I'll be the afterthought. God bless Brendan Fraser. That light's broken. Oh, was that flashing this whole time? I hope not. Okay, thanks for watching.